What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. It's an exciting time in the NBA as trades are going to start happening tomorrow. And some of you have been asking who's available to be traded, and I saw this article on Air Alamo last night. I thought I'd share it with you today. Of note, Thaddeus Young is not listed here, but I do expect him to be traded before the trade deadline around the All-Star break. While I'm talking about these players that are eligible for trade, drop a comment down below. Who do you think will stay? Who do you think will go? And if you think somebody's going, what do you think we might get in return? Hit that thumbs up if you like, support the channel, and subscribe. More Spurs content. Let's get into it. Who is available? Well, you probably saw it in the thumbnail, but let's talk a little about this first. December 15th could be a big day for the San Antonio Spurs and the rest of the NBA. Approximately 106 recently signed free agents across the league will be eligible to be traded beginning that day in accordance with the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, which is tomorrow. With the many offseason acquisitions and re-signs, the Spurs have 5 such guys that can technically be traded, although most of them will likely be safe from such move. The players are as following, and I'll give my thoughts on each of these as well. KBD, Zach Collins, Brenton Forbes, Jacques Landale, and Doug McDermott. Air says, of those 5, Doug McDermott is likely the safest from being moved this season or anytime soon. I would agree. He's starting right now. He's one of our best three-point shooters. It'd be weird to bring a guy in and then just unload him immediately. That being said, could they unload him before the All-Star break if they see something in Zach Collins and feel he could start at the 4? Maybe, but Zach Collins has been injured and is going to have to show the Spurs a whole heck of a lot before they go ahead and trade away Doug McDermott. So I think I agree here. I think Doug McDermott's going to be safe. Up next, Jacques Landale. Well, this would be... Come on now. Is likely safe as well. He's in his first season of a 2-year, $4.5 million contract and has received very limited playing time, which is true. But he has looked great in his 2 games in the G League. Of course, he came back and got about a minute and a half in the Spurs' last win. It is what it is. But I can't imagine the Spurs already giving up on this player that we've barely seen any of in the NBA and just some great offense in the G League. So I don't think there's any chance that Jacques Landale's going anywhere. Eventually, he might be the number 2 to Jakob Poeltl's 1. He might be a Batman to the Robin. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. He might be backing up Jakob Poeltl at some point, as Drew Eubanks and Thaddeus Young I don't think are on our long-term plans as a backup center. Anyway, after I poorly executed explaining what's going on with Jacques Landale, up next is Zach Collins. Zach Collins coming off an injury. We have no idea what we have in him, and neither does the rest of the NBA. So I can't see any chance he gets moved before the trade deadline. So let's just move right along there. The other 2 players, though, are interesting that are on the thumbnail and in this article, or on the article and on my thumbnail. Brenton Forbes and KBD are probably the most likely to be traded out of this group. Even then, neither are very likely to be moved overall. Forbes has picked up his shooting in a big way after a rough first few weeks and will likely continue to play the role of an offensive spark plug. I could see Brenton Forbes getting moved. He's small. He's not great on defense, and I really feel this Spurs team's trying to do, the strong defense first, offense second, and Brim. I don't think he's set to succeed here. Brim did very well in Milwaukee last year when he's just standing there waiting for, Giannis to throw the ball after a double team and launch the 3. We don't have that type of offense. We don't have that type of player that can demand a double team in the paint or in the post. So I think Brim could be traded, and I just know some Spurs fans we can't get anything for him. I think we get maybe a late second-round pick from a contending team or maybe a young developmental project. I think we could get something. But it would be weird, too, to have Bren be a Spur, leave to go to Milwaukee, come back a Spur, and then shipped out that same year. I would kind of feel bad for him, to be honest with you, but I could see a contender maybe wanting a little depth on the bench, maybe some three-point shooting, and a veteran. Say what you will, he's an NBA champion. He won a ring last year with Milwaukee. And then KBD. Honestly, I don't see KBD being moved at all. He's on the cheap, if you will. He has a small contract. We've had some injuries to Devin Vassell this year. We had some injuries, albeit short, to Keldon Johnson. And KBD has performed admirably as a backup or just getting thrown into the starter spot. So I think KBD and Doug McDermott actually struggled with injuries too a couple times. I think it was his right knee. He had some inflammation. He missed a few games earlier in the year and then had another set where he missed 3 games. And each time KBD, no offensive juggernaut, for a guy that's expected to come off the bench, deep role player off the bench, I thought he's played pretty well, and I think KBD's not going anywhere. So out of these 5, I think Brenton Forbes has the most likely shot to get traded. But this is the San Antonio Spurs fans. More often than not, we're not going to trade anybody. I wouldn't be shocked if we go through the whole trade season, if you will, and no Spurs are traded, minus Thaddeus Young. He's clearly not happy here. Or not happy, I don't want to say not happy here, not happy with his role, the limited minutes, and he's 33 now. I can see the Spurs wanting to, do him a solid and get him to a contender and try to pick up anything, a bag of chips for him. Whatever happens, I hope we don't do a LaMarcus Aldridge. And what I mean by that is last year, LaMarcus Aldridge, we kind of shopped him around to get anything for him and then got buying out his contract and got nothing. And that's the worst thing to see happen to your team was when you have a player and you get nothing. Thaddeus Young showed the Spurs fans, NBA fans, that he still has some in the gas tank and he can help another team, but right now he just doesn't fit, I think, what we're doing. And I don't want to see him as a center in the small ball lineups anymore. I'm good with that. So that's all I got. Short video today on who's available for trade from the Spurs organization. And if anything happens, I'm going to try to get a video up ASAP and talk to you all about it. Well, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, go Spurs go!